Look at this. Welcome to the brand new Travel Tuesday.
Elizabeth, I am so excited. We have a brand new format. We're back, and it's going to be a great program.
That's right. You know, people are used to seeing us here in a shorter format, kind of skimming across the top with your travel news, typical trends, what's going on. But now we want to really dive deep into some of these travel issues, trends, destinations, and share all that information.
And so it's an expanded format. We're really going to dive into different topics, destinations, have special guests, and we're going to really kill it here. I know we are.
And I'm so glad everyone could join us because we have been off the air for a little bit here, if that's the proper saying, because we've been working with the AAA marketing team on putting this whole thing together for this new and expanded and reinvented Travel Tuesday.
There's been a lot of work into this, so a lot of thought, a lot of effort, and I know our viewers are going to love it.
Yeah, so we'll be here every month, and we're going to have tons of information. For example, on today's episode, we have so much content to talk about. One of the things, this is why I'm wearing the red, Valentine's Day, so love is in the air this month, so we want to talk about the gift of love, and travel sums it all up.
Elizabeth, you always have that covered, so absolutely, when I saw you in the red, I thought, nope, it's Valentine's Day, but also equally important, spring break, it's coming up. A lot of opportunity for spring break. We're right in the middle of wave season right now, so there's a lot of things going on with that. Cruising is huge, and now's the time to book that cruise for the rest of winter, spring, summer, Europe vacations. We really have a lot to talk about. Plus, we have a special guest.
Yeah, we have Charlie Fashana, our marketing director, who took an incredible trip with Rocky Mountaineer. I know you've traveled with them before, and we're going to hear all about Charlie's experience and how cool it was out west.
It is a wonderful trip, and I can't wait to hear his experience. And you know what? We're going to cap it off with some viewer questions. So
That's right.
It really is an exciting new format. We're really glad to be here, and we hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, and if people do have questions, feel free to comment and ask your question. We'll get to it in a different episode.
Absolutely.
So, Brian, one of the exciting things going on right now is people packing their bags and their sunscreen and getting ready to head out for spring break.
Well, you know what? It's been a long, cold winter, and people are thinking about that warm weather destination.
Well,
and
both.
Absolutely. And I have to tell you, I've asked you this before. What is the number one destination from Western and Central New York?
No matter what the occasion, it's always Orlando. People flock to Orlando.
It's amazing. And of course, in Orlando, in the Central Florida area, there's so much to do with Universal Orlando, Disney World, Port Canaveral, the Kennedy Space Center, the beaches. It really is such a popular destination, and so many cruises leave from Cape Canaveral as well. People will take that cruise and then enjoy a land vacation after that as well.
Yeah, but that's a lot of people, and that's always number one. But still, we're seeing people branching out. If you think about the international travel rebounding last year and really recovering from the pandemic, people are traveling all over the globe for spring break.
They absolutely are. And I've been in the travel business for 40 years, and years ago, people would think nothing of going to London or Paris for a long weekend. And then it was like, oh my God, you need 10 days or a week to do that. And now we're back to that long weekend mentality. Europe has been so backlogged with opportunity, so many people are trying to get that European vacation in.
Sure. And of course, it all depends on your budget and what fits for you. There's a lot of people taking road trips for spring break as well. We'll see people heading down to the Carolinas, Myrtle Beach, Hilton Head, whatever works for you. Maybe it's even a staycation. It's all about unplugging and relaxing, especially when the kids have off from school.
It's so important, and we've all realized that, and you're absolutely right. And, the Carolinas have always been popular during spring break, but, New York State, winter wonderland for those that want to ski and do that. But, we talk about the wine country as well. Wineries are open during the winter as well, and many people do the wine trails even in the winter.
Yeah. So it's all about just making sure that you take that time. National Plan for Vacation Day just took place at the end of January, and it doesn't matter if you missed that one specific day, because it's all about planning in the beginning of the year for the rest of the year, so you make sure you know what your vacation's going to be, where it's going to go, if it fits in your budget, and what vacation days you need off.
You're absolutely right, and you mentioned it earlier. You really need to unplug from your job, from the stresses of every day, and really enjoy that. And the number's astounding, but how many vacation days do people give up every year?
Hundreds of millions of hard-earned vacation days are going out the window.
Yes.
Go sit in your backyard if you have to. Do something. AAA can get you near or far.
And I've been one of those. I've given up vacation days over the years, and you know what? I've realized now it is important. And so plan that vacation, and really, we have people that are booking out into 2025 and 2026. It's really taking the time, as you said, and you know what? With planning early, you get the pricing that you want, savings sooner than later, and you get the type of accommodations. Then you don't have to worry about it. You can go about your busy life and know you have that vacation in the future.
Well, that's what we talk about, National Plan for Vacation Day. Early bird gets the worm. Early bird also gets the best deals, the best accommodations, like you just mentioned, the amenities and everything to go with it. So Easter is early this year. It's at the end of March. So you have to kind of look at the calendar and think about that too. If you don't have anything booked yet, it's not too late, but you're going to want to get that scheduled.
Well, it's not too late, and we always find last-minute opportunity. If someone's calling and our AAA travel advisors know all of the specials and the availability, you can really get that Easter vacation, spring vacation made now.
And it's all about those memories, you know, whether you're traveling with your family, your friends, a couple, a solo travel, whatever it might be, having these experiences and seeing the world. And that's what people want to do. And for someone that might be going to the theme parks, for somebody else it might be seeing another culture around the globe. But whatever it is, it's the memories that you have that are really cool.
You're right. Experience is the word, and we're seeing so much of that these days.
Yeah. So I know my kids always love to go on cruises because there's something for everyone in the family. And of course, you know, my favorite spot to go with the family is down in the Florida Keys.
Florida Keys by land, and if you're on a cruise, I think a cruise needs to stop at Perfect Day at Cococay.
Oh, absolutely. We're going to talk about that coming up.
Yes.
And we have some cruise tips as
Yes.
well, but you cannot go wrong with a stop at Perfect Day.
Absolutely. And, you know, I remember as a kid our spring break vacations. We did them educationally. We would go to Williamsburg, and we would go to Gettysburg and Boston, and, you know, we did a lot of that. And then we would get the Florida vacation in every now and then. But a lot of people look at that Easter vacation or spring break to do something educational, and there's a lot to learn about our country.
Oh, there sure is. There sure is. And there's some great deals to be had, too. So Charlie's going to be on a little bit talking about Rocky Mountaineer and his experience there, but they have a great deal right now. You book a 2024 package on select dates, you're saving up to $1,000 per couple, but you want to hurry up. That's only good until February 15th.
Yeah, and you know, Rocky Mountaineer, it's a great experience. They don't discount a lot, so this is a really great deal to plan. And that's really late spring, summer, early fall vacation and experience, because they don't operate those trains in the wintertime. So it's a shortened season, but an important season.
Okay, we're going to hear more about that coming up. Also want to mention travel impressions, up to 40% off select resorts in the Dominican Republic and Mexico.
So the Dominican Republic, Mexico, they have so many all-inclusives to offer, and that's a great way to enjoy a warm weather destination. There's family resorts, Nickelodeon Resort in the Dominican Republic, but whether it's couples or families, there's so much opportunity there. It really is 40% savings. It really helps.
I know, sign me up. I'm going to check that one out. And one more, Holland America, I know you've sailed with them, up to 40% off cruise fares, free balcony upgrades, 50% reduced deposits, and then free and reduced fares for kids as well, so the whole family can enjoy it.
Everybody can enjoy it. Those are wonderful discounts, and I really want to mention all of these savings with our vendors come in addition to the AAA member benefit. All of our preferred vendors have a member benefit as well, whether it's an additional upgrade or savings or a photo package, specialty dining. So these are layered opportunities, and you can't go wrong. As I say sometimes, Elizabeth, you can't afford to stay home.
Exactly. And you can't afford not to give your loved one a special gift, so we're going to talk about Valentine's Day coming up.
Absolutely.
So, Brian, the most romantic day of the year is coming up, and hence, again, why we have all red out here today, and we are talking about Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day, February, the month of love, right? We can call it a whole month of love.
Well, it could be love, or it could go in the wrong direction if you don't give the right gift. Not saying material things matter so much, but everybody gives a card or chocolate. Why not plan a vacation together?
So there's a card, there's chocolates, there's a romantic dinner, there are flowers. But you're right. We're in the travel business, and we love a romantic getaway, right?
Right. So, of course, you can get away if you just want to go to, say, one of our AAA Four Diamond hotels in the region or a Four Diamond restaurant. Now you're really wining and dining. You're taking it up to the next level.
Well, you are taking it up to the next level. And right here in Buffalo, we have Oliver's Restaurant as a Four Diamond recipient. Wonderful opportunity there. But within our territory, we have close to 20 Four Diamond properties for a nice long weekend.
Right, and all you need to do is talk to your AAA travel advisor, see what special deals are out there, and you'll be enjoying it all and having that romantic getaway. But again, if you want to take it to the next level as well and really show how much you care and love for your loved one, well, then you can plan that vacation together or give the gift of travel and say, this is where we're going to be going later this year.
Absolutely. I love the idea of a gift of travel. You can plan it together, and it can really, be terrific. But when you think of romantic getaways, sometimes you think of the Greek islands, or you think of a beautiful beach in Barbados, one of the wonderful Caribbean islands. There really is just so much to do and enjoy. One of the other places that I think is really great is Northern California, Napa, wine country. I've been there a few times, and it's just a wonderful opportunity to tour wineries, the town, the shopping, dining is spectacular. And can you just picture that as a wonderful romantic weekend?
Well, Brian, you had me at the wine. Napa sounds great.
I knew I would have you at the wine. I always do.
Right. Well, the thing is, for each individual couple, they might choose something different. Relaxing on a beach, doing nothing is great for some people, or some want to go exploring. And there's really, the world's at your fingertips these days.
You're right. And as you said, romance means different things to different people. And I have to tell you, whether it is a destination that's halfway around the world, or a local destination, or just, something in between, our AAA travel advisors, they've traveled the world. They know these destinations in and out, and they can create the best romantic getaway, let alone any other type of vacation.
That's for sure. And we're covering so many topics today. You can get all this information right at AAA.com/Travel Tuesday. So that's AAA.com/Travel Tuesday. All the wealth of information right there, so you can decide what vacation you want to take.
And there's got a lot of information there. So it's not only things that we've talked about specifically today, but there's links to other specials and programs there. So it really is a wealth of information.
And when you talk about one of the great ways to travel, where you want to do everything, sit on the beach, do your exploring, and enjoy all that food and cuisine we talked about, cruising is one of the most popular ways to travel. So we're going to talk about that coming up.
I'm really excited. I love different forms of cruising.
Okay, it's time to say bon voyage.
You know it.
Well, Brian, it's time to hit the high seas, and we need to talk about cruising.
We're right in the middle of wave season. Do you know what wave season is?
Yes, I do, and we need to tell our audience because it's where you're going to save the most money on booking your cruises.
Now is the time for really great savings on cruising, and it's kind of like the Black Friday of cruising, but it's for a long period of time. And so, back years ago, they were always looking for opportunities to entice people to cruise. And there weren't that many cruise ships. So, they had wave season offering wonderful discounts and upgrades and so forth. Well, now there's so many new ships in the seas that wave season has gotten even bigger and better than ever. So there is definitely an opportunity and a savings no matter what cruise line, no matter what type of itinerary you want to do. It's wave season, and a lot of savings are there.
That's for sure. And speaking of a lot of ships on the water, the biggest ship on the water has made its debut, Icon of the Seas.
It has. It's just been in the last few weeks. It arrived into Florida from the shipyard. They did a crossing across the Atlantic, and I have to tell you, I haven't been on it yet. However, I've done a lot of reading. It is absolutely spectacular. State of the art. From stem to stern, no pun intended.
Well, and you can tell all the videos online and social media where people just getting a glimpse of from the shore are in awe, much less the people that are on there experiencing it. Like seriously, 7 pools on one cruise ship. Like that's unheard of.
It is unheard of. I mean, on many cruise ships, there's 2, maybe 3. But there's 7 here. Some are adult only. Some are family. There's a lap swimming pool. So they've really taken that to the next level. And really, you can immerse yourself in so many different things. And that really is unheard of. And, when you think of the Icon and the size, the capacity total with crew and guests at maximum is 10,000 people. So double occupancy in cabins is about 5,600 guests, but sometimes there's 3 and 4 in a cabin. And so when you look at that, it gets up to 8,000, and then the crew. And when you have that many crew, you know what? The service is going to be good.
Oh, they're going to roll out the red carpet, that's for sure. But the number one question that I get about cruising is people say, well, I get sick. I don't think I could do it. I'm too claustrophobic. And the only way I can explain it is I try to say it's like the Galleria on water. It is so big. Like, and it's 10 times bigger than that. But you know what I mean? Just so people understand. And there's stabilizers on these new ships, and people can take different precautions if they think they're going to get ill, the patch behind the ear, etc. But it's so big, and there is so much to do. It's actually, you'll never see the entire ship if you're just on the cruise for a few days or a week.
You're absolutely right. And, the technology with cruising has come a long way. And you mentioned stabilizers. You really don't know that you're, moving, and you don't really feel rocking. I don't anyway. But it really is so amazing. And when you look at the technology and you have 8,000 people to move around, just for example, the elevator system. On many cruise ships, there's lines to get in the elevators, and people push a floor, and if you're on 2 and you need to go to 10, you're stopping at 3 and 4 and 5.
You're getting out and walking up the stairs.
We got the local here, right?
Right.
So it's like, oh my God, and you're jammed in. You know what they do on the Icon? It's a computer system. You push a button for the floor that you want to go to, and you go to the elevator that goes to that floor. So you don't have the local anymore. You're going right to your floor. So that moves people efficiently, and people that get claustrophobic and they're in an elevator and so forth. It's amazing. The technology is amazing.
Well, and just to think that technology is on a cruise ship, it goes to show you how advanced they are these days.
A lot of effort and thought was put into this, and when you think of the number of people, they've laid out the ship into neighborhoods. So there's different areas where people can do different things. There's Thrill Island, and there's Surfside, and they call it Sweet Neighborhood. They're all different themes where you're not all together and you're not all clustered, and it really just gives you the feeling like, there aren't that many people on here, and we're really enjoying ourselves.
Right, and Royal Caribbean took some of the things that it's known for, such as Central Park, the Royal Promenade. They put those in there so the loyal Royal Caribbean sailors say, oh my gosh, here we can go, we're familiar with this, with all kinds of new amenities that are on there too. So again, you're talking about never going to the same place twice, or the crowd spreading out throughout the ship. That's a perfect example. Like my daughter, for example, we took a cruise a couple years ago. My kids loved it, my husband loved it, I loved it. It was something for the whole family. There was something for all of us. My daughter turned into Julie McCoy herself, right? She was like, Mom, we got to get to the promenade deck. This is going on, that's going on, because they have everything on the app, so you can find out what's going on. Is it karaoke? Is it about belly flop contest?
Right.
Is it an art show? There's literally something for everyone.
Well, there really is, and what some of the key things with Royal Caribbean, and they're definitely on the Icon, is the flow rider. I don't know if you've ever tried it. I have. I'm not a surfer, but it's a you're actually in water with waves, and there's an incline, and you are surfing on a cruise ship. And I have to say, I fell a couple times, but I did end up staying up. So that was really cool. But when you think of the rock climbing wall, in the skating, the shows, I've been to their shows where the skating is just unbelievable. And, there's just so much there.
Well, that's the thing. And you don't want to mention what happened in 2020 with the pandemic, but when it relates to cruising, the cruise industry was literally shut down, impacted probably more than any other industry, made a comeback, but found out how to a way to do things even better, with better service, health standards put in place, incredible ships like Icon of the Seas, and next thing you know, it's bigger and better than ever, the whole entire industry, and who knew? And that's because so many people enjoy it. They have their food and their entertainment and everything all included, and you're seeing multiple destinations all in one trip.
You're absolutely right, and it's kind of an easier vacation for people to take if they want to unpack once, see some different islands, have a lot of entertainment and a lot of fun. And one of the things with Icon, and it's unique for Royal Caribbean, is their private island. And their private island, I know you've been to many times, but it really is a destination in itself. And this is Perfect Day at Cococay, and that is one of the stops on the Icon itinerary.
Of course they're taking everyone there because it is incredible. So before we get to what's on the island, explain what private island means so people understand, like, is this included in my cruise fare? Can anyone go?
Of course it is. In many cruise lines over the years, they've had what they call a private island. So, many stop at San Juan and Cozumel and, Barbados, but they have their private island that they run, and there's, beaches and restaurants and some entertainment and just activities that all of the ship guests get to participate in. Not an extra charge, although now there are some chargeable items as these private islands have grown so, but it's unique for those guests on that particular cruise line.
Right, so at Perfect Day at Cococay, everyone's allowed to get off. There's no fee. It's included in your cruise. You'll get lunch there. Incredible. They have like Jamaican jerk chicken and burgers and everything you can imagine, like a big beach party for everyone. And there's swimming pools, largest freshwater pool in all of the Bahamas or the Caribbean, right at Cococay. Private beaches, incredible water and activities. So then you can upcharge if you want to say I want to do an excursion and I want to go ride a jet ski, or I want the kids to go on the water park, which is incredible with all the water slides. You can do an excursion for that, or you can get your own private cabana. So a lot of it's included, and there's other things that you can upgrade to.
Absolutely, and there's an adults only section as well. So there's cabanas, a private pool there, private beach. There really is so many unique things that you can focus on, and many people choose Royal Caribbean for that very particular stop.
Well, imagine stepping off the cruise ship and you're getting welcomed with the island vibe and the music and dancers, and everyone's making you feel so special. And you're like, oh my gosh, this is my island for the day. They're taking your picture, they're handing you the drink of the day, everyone's having a great time. And then there's a big sign, and it's like chills or thrills. So thrills, you want to go down the big water slides. Chills, you just want to go sit on the beach. And that's kind of what they market. And there's everything for that and in between.
It really is. And so many people come back and say, what a wonderful experience they had. And one of the things as well with the Icon that's amazing are the accommodations. Typically, in the old days, you thought of an inside cabin, an outside cabin, and a balcony. Now they have that and so much more. There's family suites and there's loft cabins. There's two-story with bedrooms upstairs. There's some that have pianos in the cabins, and it really slides, all kinds of things. There are so many unique family friendly accommodations that it's hard to choose from all there is to offer.
Sure. Well, so many people like to cruise with the multi-generational aspect. Grandma and grandpa are taking everyone on the cruise, or maybe it's a few families going together, and that way you can have those adjoining cabins or cabins with their own private like a hallway, so you can go from room to room.
Absolutely.
A little more space.
It really is amazing, and one of the things that Royal Caribbean started as well, and I call them inside outside. They're cabins that face the inside, and they have windows, and they overlook Central Park. So you're not seeing the sea, but you're seeing all the activity along Central Park and the main promenade. So there really is a price point and something for everybody.
Yeah, and Central Park does look like a park right in the middle of the cruise ship with restaurants and dining and a wine bar and more. So there really is something for everyone. But this is why you're going to want to use a travel agent to think about what cruise works for you and what stateroom you want to have, because you want to have this discussion so that making sure that your needs are met.
Yeah, and when you're planning a cruise, there's a couple things to keep in mind. When you're flying to that port that the cruise departs from, you want to make sure that you go the day before, at least 1 or 2 days.
Yeah.
If you're flying to, say, Miami, and your flight is canceled or there's a delay, that boat's going to leave without you. So you want to make sure that you're. Right. I've seen that happen to people. But
yeah, you want to say bon voyage from the ship,
absolutely.
Not from the shore.
You want to get there, so it's really important that you go a day or two before. You can stay in a hotel. You can do some sightseeing. Many people that go to Europe for cruises, they do that as well. And you know what? Cruising has also changed over the years. I think it's become a little more casual. I'm an overpacker. I belong to Overpackers Anonymous. But on a cruise, gone are the days of the tuxedo and the gowns and so forth. You can get dressed up and really, enjoy that, but they don't have those true formal black tie nights like they used to. Many people will go to the casual restaurant and buffet because they don't even want to get dressed to go to the dining room. But there is something for everyone. But, you don't want to overpack because you got to store your luggage in your stateroom, and not a lot of extra room for that.
That's why you have to come to AAA and get the packing cubes. You can roll your clothes up in there and fit so much more in your suitcase than you would without the cube. So AAA has you covered no matter what you
We
need.
got you covered, and again, our travel advisors know all the details. Many have sailed on all these different cruise lines. Many are specialists with all of our partner cruise lines. So again, you can see all these programs and details at AAA.com/Travel Tuesday, and you can set up an appointment with one of our travel advisors right through that portal.
Yeah, and next thing you know, it's time to set sail.
Bon voyage.
Okay. Hey, you don't want to travel by cruise? How about by train? We're going to talk about that coming up.
I'm excited.
You could consider it the Great American Expedition, I guess, traveling by train out west. Charlie Fashaughnessy, our marketing director at AAA, you got to experience this.
I had such an incredible time out west. I can assure you, though, it is not the wild, wild west on that luxurious train. It's incredible.
I have just seen the pictures about Rocky Mountaineer is what we're talking about, this luxury train travel. You're not actually sleeping on the train.
No, that's the cool thing. You get to enjoy the train while you're awake and not waste any time sleeping in a cabin on a train, which is really cool.
Yeah, so then they take you from hotel to hotel, and you get to enjoy the scenery from the train ride.
Yeah. So if we talk about the trip itself, where you go to and from, you have some options. So Rocky Mountaineer does a really cool route both in the United States and the Rockies out west, as well as up in Canada. But I took the trip through the western part of the United States. You can start in Salt Lake City, make your way all the way through into Denver, Colorado, or you can do it backwards and go the other way. It's kind of up to you and your preference where you want to start, where you want to end.
Okay, national parks?
There's many nearby. Part of the trip that I was on, we stop in Moab, Utah, and take a little jaunt out to Arches National Park.
Okay, cool.
Arches is just unbelievable. It's like otherworldly to see those rock formations, that red rock, the different, contrasting colors of the sand and the red rocks, and then just like the most perfect blue sky. It's just breathtaking.
I was going to mention that from the pictures on your phone. You see the scenery, and there's a lot of the colors of the reddish and the orange and the brown from out west, but then these bright blue skies, unbelievable.
Yeah. I mean, we don't get that kind of sun, it seems, over here in Buffalo. But yeah, it really is just picturesque, like a postcard, the whole way through. And actually, one of the coolest things I felt about that trip, apart from the train, which is probably the hero, which is saying something when you look at the scenery, but the contrast going from Utah to Colorado, right? You get to see, more desert, red rock, sandy kind of look, not as much trees. And you make your way into Colorado, and you have this transition to a totally different landscape where you see evergreen trees and pine trees and all of that, and just a totally different landscape in the same trip.
That's really cool. To be able to experience all that and all at once, and to see that transition take place, really neat.
Yeah, it really is very cool. So starting in Salt Lake City, they take care of you from start to finish. Everything is either transported for you, or you're going in a motor coach to and from the hotels at the different stops. And we haven't even really talked about the train yet.
Right.
Yeah, so let's do that.
Again, if you haven't gotten the idea yet, this is a luxury train. It's not just like, hey, hop on board, you're going for a quick ride. It's not about the transportation, right? It's about the experience.
It is about the experience, and it is an experience. Every detail is covered with the team from Rocky Mountaineer. So the train itself, incredible, right? Like, these are the trains that have those glass roofs, so you can kind of get the panoramic view, right? Who would want to go through, winding through the mountains and not be able to see up and see the peak of the mountain, right? So, just about any point in wherever you are in the cabin, you're going to be able to see up, down, left, or right. So a big goal of the trip is to see the scenery. Ideally, you get to see some wildlife, but you're going to meander through rivers and streams, see different textures on the mountains and the trees, but you also see wildlife, and you're going to be able to spot it, hopefully have enough time, because the train doesn't travel very fast, so you can grab your camera, get a snap, or take a video of what you're seeing.
Is there a conductor kind of leading the way or pointing things out to you?
So probably my favorite part of the whole trip, and I don't want to sound like I liked one thing more than the other, because it really was incredible, but the people from Rocky Mountaineer really make it special. They go out of their way to make the trip special. So right from that very beginning, when you board the train, you're greeted by a Rocky Mountaineer host. And it is very much the welcome aboard, and they take you to your seat and you just settle in, right? And then you're introduced to the people that are going to be with you for your journey. So we had Michael as our host guide, and he was just outstanding, right? As nice as they get, had a great personality, a great sense of humor, knew that landscape, knew that train history inside and out. So not only are you having fun conversing with him, you're learning along the way, and it's just incredible. Like, he knew where the eagle's nest was going to be. We're 4 hours into the train ride, and he knows to look out for the eagle's nest, right? I have no idea where we are, and he's pointed out for you. So he was outstanding, but it's not just him. There's a host of people behind the scenes, but also on the front line kind of taking care of you. So we had Ray, who was our culinary host. She took care of the food on the train. And then Lee, maybe my favorite person, she was our bartender.
Okay, now we're getting into the food and the drink. Okay.
So I made many visits to the bar cart, and Lee and I hung out for quite a while. Had a nice time there. Yep.
So this really is luxury, because you're not just there for the transportation again. You're getting this experience, the scenery, and they're wining and dining you.
You absolutely are getting a luxurious experience. So, when you're just in travel mode, or if you're just getting ready to eat, you're going to be in your normal seat. And it's a very comfortable cabin, right? So there's, everybody's got their row and their seats. There's tables that come down. But you don't have to stay there. You don't have to have a seatbelt on like if you're on a plane. So when you want to get up and move around, you can. You can also go to the bar cart, or the lounge, as they may call it. I call it the bar cabin.
I think I'd be friends with Lee, too.
Yeah. And so that is even more casual, but also gives you that really kind of exclusive, luxurious feel. There's couches lining each side. There's a bar with, full service, craft cocktails, good beverages, nice appetizers lining the bar. I remember a good charcuterie board. They had that really delectable, caramel corn, popcorn, and some nice stuff there. There's on the train that we were on, there was an additional bar cart or lounge that had a player piano, and was just really mellow. You can kind of just sit back, watch the scenery, and have this player piano going for you in the background.
Cool.
Yeah. So.
What about the food? I know they're known for gourmet cuisine, but I've never experienced it. How cool was the food?
Yeah, and they put a lot of care into the food. So you're not just getting something unwrapped and thrown into an oven to heat it up. They really think about the food that they're going to serve. They do look to pair it with the drink. And in some cases, I remember they had wine from Colorado, locally grown or locally sourced items. And they pair those things together. But I'm going to reference my phone here because I wouldn't get all of these things right, but some of the food options that we were given. So on night one, which we started in the mid-afternoon, so our first meal was dinner. I believe I had Colorado smoked salmon salad, as well as a boneless pork rib, right? And the next day you had breakfast and lunch on the train. They give you a nice range of options there: a golden sugar waffle, wild mountain berry parfait. Lunch was local braised beef short ribs, accompanied with different desserts. The chocolate torte was outstanding too. So that was just a few of the things that were presented as options, but you're eating like you're eating at a high-end restaurant on a train.
Nice. That is really, really cool. What about the accommodations at the hotels? Were they high-end, or what was that like?
The hotels that we stayed at were all very nice, and the way that'll work is, depending on the type of trip you book with Rocky Mountaineer will kind of determine which hotel accommodations you have. There are different levels. So I traveled on the Silverleaf Plus train, and I can say that the hotels that we stayed at in Salt Lake City, in Moab, in Glenwood Springs, Colorado, and Denver were all excellent. I suspect if you were to elevate your experience onto a Gold Leaf, you may get even more fine service.
Okay, so if people are looking at this and thinking, wow, this sounds like something I'd like to try, What age group do you think it's meant for? Obviously, there's no kids running up and down this type of a train.
There really aren't a lot of kids, if any. And let me tell you, my kids were none too happy about not having the opportunity to go on it. But this is really a travel experience geared for young adults all the way through to, your empty nesters, because it is a luxurious experience. You have time on the train to relax, to socialize, to enjoy the food and drink, but then you also have time off of the train to do other things, whether it be take in the sights or, have some other dining experiences and the like, when you're...
So it's kind of like the best of both worlds, and we have to point out that while we keep talking about international travel, rebounding, domestic travel is still really strong, and people want to see what's right here in the good old United States. So this is a perfect way to do it.
Yeah, it really is. So, this trip you cover 2 states, and like I said, you see a whole lot in between Salt Lake City and Denver, and you cover off on national parks. You get to see some historical items with historical significance. For example, midway through the trip, we stop in Glenwood Springs, Colorado, which is a wonderful mountain town. Definitely has that Old West kind of vibe to it, but in addition to its scenery, it's got a lot of history. So Doc Holliday is said to be buried there. There is a cemetery with a grave that says somewhere in this cemetery we believe Doc Holliday is buried. There's also Doc Holliday's saloon. So you just get that old Wild Wild West feel, but you're still being treated to some pretty nice accommodations.
Yeah, really, really nice. What an experience. But do you have any tips for people if they're thinking about traveling by train like this?
Yeah, I would say it's important to understand a few things. It is a daylight travel train, so you're not sleeping on it. But based on moving from hotel to hotel, you're not necessarily always carrying your luggage with you. So you'll want to be prepared for a few things to have on the train while your luggage might be going to the hotel. And you won't have access to it. So have a backpack or a travel bag that you can bring on and are comfortable kind of carrying around. Maybe like a light sweater because the air conditioning on the train might get a little chilly. But just be comfortable leaving your luggage and entrusting it with the Rocky Mountaineer team, I would say, is probably the most important thing. I would not think that anybody should be concerned about any limitations physically with getting on and off the train or doing any of the excursions. I had mentioned we did a full tour of Arches National Park. Now, myself, love that stuff, love being out and doing some adventurous things. So I did the full hike, actually climbed as much as I could as well, but there was a number of people that just stood back onto like the main overlooks and stayed with the guide, took their pictures and waited for us to come back, and I think they were equally as happy.
All right, so each person, to each their own.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, Charlie, so say you're at a cocktail party, someone's asking you about this trip. What is the number one thing you tell them about?
I'll start with a funny story. Again, getting back to how great the hosts were. So, Michael, we're having a wonderful time midday. We're on our way from Utah into Colorado, and he's just going through very casually explaining some of the history of like the little towns that we're going through, and we're approaching the Utah-Colorado line, which is cool. If you're looking outside the left of the cabin, you'll see on the mountain written in white, painted in white, big, a line that says Utah and Colorado. So you can kind of actually see when you cross into Colorado. But on the other side of the train, there's like a river that kind of runs alongside. And Michael's just going on to, all this history around, Moon River and, the people that live in the area around Moon River, and they just love the train. They think it's part of their livelihood, it's part of their story, so much so that they love to give the Colorado salute as they see the train coming by to welcome them into Colorado. We did not think anything of it until we get a little bit closer and we see a whole bunch of people's rear behinds welcoming the train into Colorado. That's the Colorado salute with a bunch of full moons, which was just one example of the many sort of funny moments that we had, unique experiences that we had. It was all in good fun, of course, but You're really going to be just impressed with one thing after the next, from the scenery and the landscape to the quality of the accommodations on the train, but maybe even most importantly, the people and the interactions that you have with the people from Rocky Mountaineer, but also the people that you're going to make friends with aboard.
Yeah, that's true. Building those relationships and making friendships, it's all part of travel. So I'm so glad you had a great trip.
It was incredible.
Okay,
It really was.
You can learn more about Rocky Mountaineer right at AAA.com/Travel Tuesday. And you never know, check out the page. Maybe the Moon River picture will show up there. Well, this was a fun Travel Tuesday. We covered a lot of bases. We heard about Rocky Mountaineer, we talked cruising, and of course, Valentine's Day.
Yeah, there is so much. I really love the opportunity to go a little more in depth for destinations. And again, we've traveled the world.
Well, people are looking for more information on these destinations. They want to educate themselves before they head out. This is the perfect place to do it. AAA.com/Travel Tuesday to get all the information from all of the episodes.
Yeah, I'm really excited of future programs as well, to really just take the time and dive in a little bit deeper.
Sure. And of course, people still have questions, and that's fine. So if you have a question, comment below. We'll do our best to answer that. And we do have a couple that already came in. So one is Emily in Liverpool. So she's a first-timer. She and her husband, they want to go to Europe. They want to experience it all. They're worried about language barriers, and they're kind of overwhelmed with all the options. So you've been in travel for a long time. What do you recommend?
So two things come to mind. For a first-time traveler to Europe, I might recommend London. The language is similar, the dialect is a little bit strong, but, traveling around the city is amazing. Their public transportation, the tube system is really wonderful, but there's so many iconic, museums and cathedrals and entertainment and, plays. It's an easy place to get to, and it's a relatively easy place to navigate. So, and again, the language barrier very minimal there. So that would be a great first destination for Europe.
Okay, and another one, if you want to see multiple places in one trip, river cruising is really popular in Europe.
Well, river cruising is really popular, and what's nice about that is typically a river cruise is maybe 7 days long. Rhine, Danube, so many opportunities there, but you see so many destinations. You make a stop a day. The language, there's no language barrier that Emily was asking about. On the ship, on the boat, they speak English. There's tours that are included every day with English-speaking guides as well. When you're immersed into the little towns, you may have a little bit of that language issue, but that kind of makes it fun. It's a little bit exploring.
Yeah, and having that guide there taking you every step of the way, immersing yourself in these different cultures is really cool. One of the great things about it is we talked about ocean cruising earlier with thousands of people on board. This is smaller, 150 people. It's more intimate. You get to know the crew. They're going to remember how you like your drink, how you like your coffee, how you like your eggs, and you're going to be wined and dined.
It's one of my favorite ways to travel in Europe. It really is.
The other question we had was from Mark. He's in Chile. Now he's got a family vacation he's booking. They're talking kids different ages, 8, 12, 15, and he's looking for something where, the adults and the kids can all have a good time. And I know what comes to mind for me.
Well, we've talked about it, and it comes to mind for me as well. So, yes.
Cruising.
Drum roll,
right.
yeah.
So you want to go on that ocean cruise. You want to go to Perfect Day at Cococay because there is something for everyone. You can get off at the ports together and be together, but then even on the ship itself, if the kids don't want to go to the fancy dinner with mom and dad, they don't have to. They can go to the kids club. There's a teen club. There's so many different activities taking place around the clock.
There really is, and we talked about the Icon being the largest vessel. There's all sizes, all different destinations, and something else I might recommend to Mark as well. Some all-inclusives in the Caribbean. There are family-friendly all-inclusives where there's activities and different water sports for kids of different ages as well. So there really is a lot of opportunity for a family vacation. The cruise kind of includes it all, and all-inclusive includes it all, and there's not a lot of work and pure enjoyment.
Yeah, and while we talked about different sales and different deals that are out there, a lot of times kids can travel free, so you want to make sure you check that out as well. And again, AAA.com/Travel Tuesday, a lot of information, but we're so happy that everyone can tune in.
Absolutely, a lot of great information.
Yeah, this is our reinvented Travel Tuesday, so taking you in depth on different destinations around the globe, different travel trends, and everything that you need to know before you go.
Yeah, absolutely. I even learned some things today, so there's always something to learn.
There sure is.
Yeah.
So we'll see you right back here on the next episode.